My name is Arthur Hale. I'm 78 years old. If you're looking at my face right now, I want you to understand something. These lines aren't just wrinkles, they're records. Every single crease is a decision I made. Every scar is a season I didn't slow down enough to feel. I've reached that stage of life where tomorrow is no longer promised in bulk. It just arrives one quiet day at a time. And sitting here, alone in a house that was built for noise, I've learned something truly painful. I spent decades preparing for a future I completely forgot to live in. I always believed that life would begin later, after the next promotion, after the mortgage was paid off, after the kids grew up and left home, after I finally retired. But the truth is brutal. There is no finish line waiting for you with open arms. I know because I crossed it, and it was empty. I've stayed silent about this for a long, long time, because admitting regret feels like admitting failure. But today, I'm speaking out. Because if you're listening to this, it means you still have what I lost: time. My biggest mistake began when I was in my 30s. I called it drive. I praised it as discipline. But looking back, it was obsession, wearing a respectable suit. I was always chasing the next chapter, always convinced that happiness was just around the corner. I told my wife, just a little longer, honey, then we'll travel the world. I promised my children, next year, I promise I'll have more time for you. I treated today like it was loose change, something to spend carelessly in exchange for a better tomorrow. But in doing so, I missed the laughter that never returned. I missed those quiet, precious moments that only happen once. I built success with my own 2 hands, but while I was busy building, my most important relationships were slowly slipping right through my fingers. By the time I finally arrived at the life I had worked so hard for, the people I wanted to share it with, well, they had already learned to live without me. I found myself owning everything, and yet belonging nowhere. So please, hear this: do not trade your present for a promise. The future is not guaranteed, and even if it does arrive, it may not recognize the person you've become. I was taught that a man's worth could be measured by the size of his house, the model of his car, the prestige of his address, and so I chased symbols. I spent 40 years polishing things that could never, ever love me back. I found myself caring for my lawn more than I cared for conversations. I worked late into the night to afford comfort that ultimately just replaced connection. Now, all those things just feel heavy. Not valuable heavy. My children don't want the things I collected. They wanted who I was supposed to be. They wanted their father. I've learned that legacy isn't what you leave behind for people. It's what you leave inside of them. So if you're re-exhausting yourself to provide objects when what your family truly needs is your present, just stop. Time is the only currency that never, ever refunds. And listen closely, especially if you still feel strong and invincible. I abused my body because I assumed it would always forgive me. I skipped rest. I fed myself stress for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I postponed my health for a magical day called someday. But someday never came. Now, I have all this knowledge without the strength to use it. I have freedom without the stamina to enjoy it. I spent my health buying comfort, and now I'm spending my comfort chasing health. I can tell you from experience that trade never works out in your favor. So please, move now, breathe now, care for yourself now. Your body is not a tool you can just wear down and replace. It is your home. You only get one. There's another kind of pain that waits for you at the end of life. It's not loneliness, not exactly. It's the pain of unfinished sentences. For most of my life, I thought silence meant strength. I foolishly believed that love didn't need words to be real. I was wrong. I was so wrong. There are people I would give absolutely anything to speak to just one more time. There are words I saved for later that never arrived. Say what matters while it can still be heard. Pride is a very cold companion in old age, and for heaven's sake, stop living for the approval of others. I bent my entire life to fit the expectations of people who barely remember my name today. Most of them are gone now. The rest are far too busy worrying about their own lives to think about mine. I should have been braver. I should have been louder. I should have been more foolish. I should have lived for my own soul, not for my image. Now, my house is quiet. My calendar is empty. My success echoes in these big, empty rooms, but there's no warmth. There's no life. I finally understand that life is not a race. It's a song. You're meant to enjoy the melody, not just rush to the final note. So, slow down, go home, forgive faster, love louder. Don't wait until silence teaches you what all that beautiful noise once meant. Live now, because the clock isn't counting toward your next achievement, it's counting down toward goodbye. If my regret can save you from a single one of your own, then sharing this has meaning. Thank you for listening. And if this message moved you, I want to know, what will you change, starting today? I'll still be here to listen.